Well, we're going to take a look at our weather conditions. By the way, in the nation's capital tomorrow for Remembrance Day, the weather should be dry and a little bit warmer than average. Let's go right now, though, to Kevin. He's at the Royal Ag Fair. Thank you so much, Kevin. Well, as you mentioned, some precipitation headed our way. Not a lot, though, because the warm front is pushing up. That's why we see some drier weather in Ottawa after some brief mixing early day tomorrow. We should have dry weather for the Remembrance Day ceremonies. But this cold front is going to be approaching so that by overnight Tuesday to Wednesday morning, we may see some passing showers. Sudbury getting snow initially and then changing over to some mixing. So the low pressure system is drawing north. And then we have another one offshore of Nova Scotia, and the two of those will result in some stormy weather for the east. But for us, we have dry weather next couple of days. Thank you so much for that, Natalie. We are going to be seeing the temperatures warming, at least temporarily, into tomorrow. I'll give you the full details in a moment. First, though, we're going to have some fun and head out to Kevin at the Royal Agricultural Fair. We are going to be seeing temperatures warming tomorrow. Why? Because this red line, which is the warm front, is drawing up some warmer air temporarily for us. Nation's capital tomorrow should have dry weather for Remembrance Day ceremonies. Then we have the cold front that's going to be sweeping in. Also want to mention, this is called the triple point. It's going to be moving up. That means that there's a transition from snow to mixing and rain, maybe even for Sudbury. But this cold front will pass through the GTA early morning Wednesday, may see some brief showers. The two lows move off into Atlantic Canada, bringing some stormy weather there. Yeah, later in the week. So 3 degrees for Thursday with some wet snow, and then the temperatures are staying cool right through to the weekend with more snow on Sunday. The only other thing that makes it feel more winter-like than snow, as Chris was just mentioning, is the fact that Kevin is at the Royal Agricultural Fair. Let's go check in with him. Off with 7 in the morning with some bright skies. However, we will see increased cloud cover as well as this warm front lifting up, and that means some good weather expected and mild weather expected for Remembrance Day ceremonies in the nation's capital tomorrow. This cold front comes through late in the day and overnight. That will result in some brief showers, probably when most are sleeping. And then we have a transition from snow to rain. We need to watch on Thursday some wet snow possibly reaching into the GTA, and then notice that the temperature daytime highs are pretty chilly compared to the 13-degree reading. And the Weather Network will be in the nation's capital tomorrow. Looks like a warm front moving through, so some drier weather and milder weather expected. Make sure you're wearing your poppy, okay? It is time now to check in with Kevin. He is at the Royal Ag Fair. I was going to say, Kevin, get to work, right? There's lots of work to be done there. We have a warm front that's pushing up. There will be increased cloud cover, though, by tomorrow, and then the warm front comes up. Nation's capital looking great, Montreal too, Toronto dry weather. However, until later in the day, then we'll see the clouds coming back in, and the cold front will bring some brief overnight showers, probably when most people are sleeping. But what's important to note about this is that the low pressure system is drawing up. So that means a transition from snow in northern Ontario. Potential of more wet snow in the forecast. But notice the temperatures. Look at this, 13 degrees tomorrow with bright skies. But look at this, down into single digits. These are the daytime highs that we have to look forward to. And some wet snow now popping up in the forecast. Well, hopefully the forecast for tomorrow makes you smile because it is going to be a little bit warmer. Let's first, though, check in and see what Kevin is up to. Good try, but no. We have temperatures that are warming, as Kevin was mentioning. Why is that? Well, because the warm front is pushing up. Notice the low pressure system is moving up in this direction. So where we have snowfall initially in northern Ontario, a switch over to mixing and even some rain at times, probably as far north as Sudbury. The temperatures will have dropped, and we're going to be bringing in some cold northerly winds, right? So look at the temperatures. It does brighten up, but it stays cold through the weather of war. You'll hear more of those segments as the day goes on and into Remembrance Day tomorrow. And we will be on location in the nation's capital for Remembrance Day ceremonies tomorrow. And overall, I mean, in terms of weather, I think it's looking pretty good for Ottawa tomorrow when we'll see those ceremonies take place. Now, looking at this is just to give you kind of a broad view of the cold that we're experiencing, and it's going to be infiltrating even down south. I mean, a lot of weather observers and meteorologists in the United States too are really keeping tabs on this because this is extreme cold for these regions as we head into November. So pretty interesting changes are happening with regard to our jet stream, and it's helping to bring in and usher in that really cold Arctic air from the north. Rainfall and snowfall totals through Saturday just very strong. In fact, there was around the Port aux Basques and around the Cabot Strait reports of the anemometer even failing, if that gives you an idea. Then we do have snowfall over northern Ontario. That's going to be significant. We're going to be talking more about your long ranger. Dr. Doug has information on who will see the most snow coming up. Eventually too, and Remembrance Day in the forecast coming up in this segment. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Sheryl Plouffe. We're going to take a look at where we are sitting with this snowfall warned region in northern Ontario. 15 to 30 centimeters, a foot of snow expected in some cases, and in the line from Timmins back towards Sault Ste. Marie and Wawa. So there's a significant snowfall on the way. Now, when we're further south, North Bay, Sudbury, Elliott Lake, those regions are expected to see snow, not in the warnings, but there will be a transition, and that's why it's not in the warning, because the warm front pushes up. You'll see the different types of precipitation. So looking at the time frame here of this afternoon, rain, maybe even some mixing down toward Barrie, but for the most part, the mixing line is up into Parry Sound, and then we see that transition with the warm front and is pushing that red line up. When we look back to Alberta, not more than about 5 more centimeters of snow. Necessarily enjoying it now that we have to get back to reality at school and work and such. Now it's all about the cold that's building in. So we've got some very cold temperatures. This high pressure is unusually strong, in fact, because normally we would see high pressure sitting at 1,013 millibars. This one's 1,050. It's going to strengthen. So basically, it just means it's a very, very strong ridge of high pressure. There's a fair amount of cloud cover still associated with it, but nonetheless, it's going to be bringing us lots of cold air. That's what this is doing. See, look at that. When you get into the purples and the blues, afternoon, minus teens, minus 20s. When you get into Saskatchewan, really seeing some of the colder temperatures here. And then the overnights, it's getting into the minus mid-20s. So lots of cold air in place in the overnight. Manitoba, you're going to be following suit with that. And because as we look ahead to Tuesday, Ottawa, of course, 10 degrees is the daytime high. We have fair weather, mix of sun and clouds, so really favorable conditions in the nation's capital for Remembrance Day ceremonies. Of course, we're going to be on location for that on Tuesday.